where the past still plays out there.
Hey, everybody, and it is another Box Scores from the Basement head-to-head live stream with Mike Canisteri back with us. Ron, of course, Daniel Evanson also. I don't think you did the last stream either, did you, Daniel? I don't
Nope.
think so. Right. So glad to have you back. Really exciting. I mean, tonight, we're going to be talking with an absolute legend in our hobby, Jim Trunzo, who created, I believe, along with his brother, the first, at least to my knowledge, honestly, the first cards and dice boxing game. And it was actually a question I wanted to have. And maybe you guys know the answer to it, or one of you. Daniel would be the one possibly, but I don't know of any boxing game that existed before Title Bout. Do any of you?
Let me look it up.
I mean, there's been some since. Obviously, Glory Days boxing, which I know people like. There's Legends of Boxing, right? And I remember my friend Chris. He actually worked on it. He invented a two dice based boxing game that we played. That was really fun. It was. I mean, it didn't have the stats the way anything close to Title Bout, but it was like a 1-1. This happened, and it was a certain number of rolls per round, and we had a lot of fun with it. But then when we found Jim Trunzo's game, that was over. So we will get to Jim here in a few minutes. I had a power outage. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Bernie. Hey, Dan. I had a power outage that lasted like 36 hours. And it wasn't caused by a storm. It wasn't called, because like, I like to think that I'm the kind of person, I'm not going to just think about myself. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's a storm and there's people's lives at risk and it's going to take a while to get to my apartment to deal with it, I get all that. But in this case, BG&E, Baltimore Gas and Electric, was working nearby. Somebody did something to something, and boop, my entire, and I don't know if you guys know, but my building is like 300 and something units. It's huge. And it was my building, and I think some other things kind of locally. And the first part of the issue is BG&E didn't jump on it. They didn't jump on fixing it. They didn't even come to try to restore the power for like 8 hours, which I don't understand what universe that's allowed to happen.
Yeah, they were waiting for the workers where they could collect double and triple time.
I'm sure it has something to do with how do we maximize our profit,
Yes.
and screw the people who. And by the way, 95 degrees outside. In May.
Do you have a public service board in Maryland?
You mean like a governing, like a civil, like
someone that oversees utility?
Yeah, there's people to yell at. Yeah, it just won't matter. I mean, yeah, sure, you can go to city. I mean, I can see City Hall practically. Well, it's on the other side of my building, but people on that side of the building, they wake up to City Hall. They see it every day. I mean, I can walk there in 5 minutes. It's just it just doesn't matter. But then BG&E, they finally get around to giving a shit. And then when they tried to restore our power to our building, it fried something called a switch gear. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah. And so basically at that point they were no longer responsible because they did what they're supposed to do and turning our power back on. But then the building, and that's when the shit really hit the fan that didn't work because we had no power. The fanless fan. Because this building is a co-op. It's condos, and that means 300 voice. Like if you own a house, you call an electrician and that person comes and they give you an estimate and you say yes or no, right? In a condo, there's 300 very nice people, who some of them are really, really nice. Actually, I love my neighbors. Mostly, yeah, I know I do. But so you've got. See, I'm learning about how screwed up everything is, but in this case, it's so you've got all of these individual owners who own apartments. In our case, we rent, and a certain percentage of the people in this building rent. And then you've got a management. You've got a homeowner, not homeowners, a condo association, board and a president of that board, right? Then you've got the management company that manages the property, and the management company, I'm told, has been hard. This building's like, it's not that old. It's like 20 years old, but 20 years, things need to be maintained. And clearly it didn't maintain whatever the switchgear thing is.
Probably fried it.
And that's why it fried, right? Because it hadn't been dealt with early. It's basically a case of kicking the can. So management is sending us these vague, happy texts about no worries, power will be restored within the hour, and they're doing that every hour. It's getting pushed and pushed and pushed. 35 hours later, they finally realize, okay, I think we got to do something. It was just such a mess. And the board, like if I was in charge of the board, I would say, get my power on as fast as humanly possible. I don't want to hear about, well, we can't do this because it's going to cause that. I don't want to hear that. Get my power back on, or nobody in this building is paying their condo fee. I think and the condo fees are pretty high here. I understand. I mean like $1,000 high. So to me, if you're paying $1,000 a month, and if I'm one of the poor owners and I'm sitting there, I've been paying $1,000 a month for as long as I've been doing that, and I'm sitting there and it's 24 hours and I'm soaking sweat. All of my food is gone, right? I mean, I just, why there wasn't a mass protest? I don't.
I'm assuming that there's families with children in your building too.
Oh yeah, and very elderly people.
I mean,
people like we're like teenagers compared to some of them.
Right, and so just to be able to afford to replace what was in your fridge or freezer, or while you're boiling, because it has been warmer. We had 90 on Monday here in Burlington.
Yeah,
which is one of the earliest days we've had 90 in recorded history. So,
and you got these poor little kids. You melted their ice cream. They can't watch their shows. It's just and you're not showing, and you're not taking responsibility. That's the thing. You're not owning it. You're blaming it on this. You're blaming it on that. You're maintaining silence. You're not telling us exactly what the issue is until it gets to the point where you have no choice. But if you have transparency throughout the process, I think everybody, because our people in our building they started to get nervous, and some people went to hotels, because they didn't know. We were told it'll be back. Oh yeah, okay, whatever, hotel time, So anyway, that's my little power outage. And the thing about it is, it's funny because when I was a kid, we had power, like it would go off all the time, but that's because my dad and my mother were bust out, so they didn't pay the bill. And so I'm kind of used to that lifestyle, and I did in this apartment last night before the power came, like yesterday afternoon, before the power came back on, like in the middle of the night. What I used to do when we were kids, what we would do is we would take, because we lived in an apartment building then, like a garden apartment, kind of like one of those, the 2-story things or whatever, with like 6 units or whatever, 8 units. So we would take an extension cord, we would plug it into the lobby, into like the hallway outside, that was public property. And then we would just use that to power our television, power our Atari, So I did that yesterday here. And, so Maria, my wife, she got to sort of relive my childhood with me, which was
so you have a generator that runs the hall lights. Is that essentially what?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. No, as far as how they fix the power.
No, what you got going on in the hallway.
The generator. Yeah. So like the lobby lights were on. If God forbid they needed it, the emergency lights would have gone on. The elevators worked. The community room, were, you could go into the community room. It was just everybody's apartment. Everybody's. So tell us about Digital to Dice, Mike.
Yeah, just recovering after another great convention. We had it on Friday and Saturday, but we were given access to the big room on Thursday night. We had about 35 to 40 people there.
Nice.
So unofficially, it started on Thursday night, and people started playing games immediately. Friendships. We were up about 15 from last year.
Oh, great.
Went from 45 to 60, and then pretty much split down the middle. 30 returnees and 30 what I call newbies to the convention, and all went well. It was up until unfortunately, Dave had his episode on.
Yep.
We found out on Friday night, and he carried on into Saturday. So,
Right.
wishing Dave well. I have talked to him. He
Mhm.
kept saying he was embarrassed that he had to leave his own convention, and I'm like, that's not. Nobody's don't need to be embarrassed. Nobody. It's not that way. It is what it is. You got to take care of your own health first. But
So what was like last year? I remember John Turnbull came and he brought like his game was kind of the new thing at the time. I think at that point it was his hockey game.
Right.
But his basketball was relatively new as well.
Right.
So that became one of the talked about games at last year's convention. What were some of the ones that were talked about this year? That's what it was sort of highlighted.
Yeah, Ian Brooks' table on deck baseball was packed all 2 days, 2.5 days, just like it was last year. So a lot of people walking out with boxes, so they did manage to buy some games. I, for the second year in a row, did not get over to his table. I did talk to Ian during the course of the day, but never got down to sit down with him. Ryan Strauss was showing off his new soccer game called Pitch Invasion, and he had quite a few people interested in that. St. Patrick was there showing off matchup football and basketball.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Mike Ignatowski was there. He's the one that designs these spreadsheets in Excel. He has Green Fox for baseball, which I use exclusively. He's got Purple Wolf for basketball, and then I forgot what the blue one is. Blue something for Blue Links for hockey. So he was showing that off, and let's see. We had the not APA people. We had the Strat.
Yeah, don't say the APA people. You had the Strat people. Strat doesn't acknowledge. Strat doesn't acknowledge that APA
and it's
exists.
funny. We
in fact, I can prove it because I had a conversation, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
with
we kind of
Adam
talked
Ritzman.
about that also. John Garcia.
Oh yeah, did he mention that I had spoken to Adam before you met?
Oh, okay.
The day before is when Adam and I spoke, and then he said in my conversation with him, I mentioned Digital to Dice, and he said, "Yeah, we got guys going there tomorrow." So that's when you met.
I met John Garcia on Friday. I was able to sit down and talk to him for about 2 hours, and then another hour on Saturday morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was sitting in the lobby with a big laptop on Saturday, and he was working on the numbers and stats for the Negro League set that they're going to be putting out. He didn't say when, but they are going to be putting out a Negro set, and he was showing me this big spreadsheet that he was using. He's a graduate of UConn, and he's a math wizard. That's what he majored in. So it's fascinating talking to him. Michael Caine was also there representing Strat. He does a lot of the ratings for different games. And he actually won 2 raffle prizes on top of that, believe it or not.
His work on the football game is legendary.
Yes. Yeah.
Pesky poles stuck in traffic, guys, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, he was playing a lot of football with different guys that were looking to learn the game. I watched for a few minutes. I had played Strat football my senior year at Bentley College up in Massachusetts. Last semester, where we only had to pass one class to graduate. So it was Stratomatic football and beer for the whole second semester.
That sounds nice. Sounds
it
nice
was,
right now.
Yeah, of course we didn't play it the correct way because the more beers we had, the only play calls that we had in our playbook was long bomb or long pass. We were looking for the long pass every time. So it got to the point where there was no strategy. We were just calling long passes and hoping to hit. That was probably the 1980 set because that was 81 I graduated. So I'm not sure who the quarterbacks were or who we were playing back then.
1980 would have been the Super Bowl was Raiders Eagles,
Okay.
right? Plunkett
Yeah.
and Ron Jaworski.
Yeah, I was of course playing the Giants, being a Giants fan, but I don't even remember who the quarterback.
Giants
God.
quarterback in 80 was Sims.
Was it Sims
and
that early?
yeah, he came in 79, I
Drafted in
believe.
79, yeah.
But it wasn't just because he kept getting hurt early in his career. They had him. They had Bruner.
Scott
Okay.
Bruner.
Yeah.
Scott Bruner. I think that's who I remember having as a quarterback was Scott Bruner. So
you mentioned Garcia. We're going to have him along with Adam Richman on our show, hopefully in about 3 weeks. I had a chance. Yeah, I've been as part of this process of getting this documentary together. I've been we obviously we spoke to John Herson. We've talked to Mike Zielinski. They're all showing support. Dave Cook was one of the first guys to come on board, very supportive. Everybody I've talked with, I'm talking about game developers, has offered, they want to be helpful in whatever way they ultimately can be. So this conversation with Adam happened. He loves the idea for the documentary, especially when I really kind of pitched him and I told him Ron's story and I told him some of the other stories. I mean, even though I had sent him the 8-page treatment, Adam is actually in the film business. He's a film producer, so they don't read shit. So sending that to him was completely pointless. Or neck. He's probably skimmed it, but but in talking to him, really good guy. And I'm looking forward to having them on the show. And it's just nice to know that now both APA and Strat have said, yeah, we want to be helpful. And Adam and I talked about ways that could happen. Again, we've talked about this before, but the idea of perks, that we're going to give, you give us $50 to make our documentary and you'll get, and again, don't hold me to this because I don't know what the exact deal will be yet, but you get a Strat season or, whatever it is. I mean, the math has to work for all parties. Right. But the idea is that you help us, we help you, that kind of thing. Yep. Right. Yep. So Daniel, how you been? Oh, go ahead, Mike. Finish up.
I found out that John Garcia lives in Avon, Connecticut, about an hour from where I live. He works out of his house. He doesn't even go to Strat on Long Island. He works out of his house, and we are going to meet this summer up at Hartford to go to a Hartford Yard Goats game.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Good.
He goes to a few games. His kids love it up there, and so we've exchanged emails, and we're gonna hook up sometime this summer and go to a game and probably talk more baseball. Yeah.
So how you been, Daniel?
Not too bad.
Going on? You got a new job?
Not too much going on. Yeah, well, I'm a little bit busier than normal now, but anyway, it'll take a little while for life to settle down, I think. But yeah, so far so good.
All right. Well, I think it is time. There's some things we still want to talk about, but we'll figure out how to do that because I don't want to leave. I don't want to keep Jim waiting anymore. Joining us now, the legend, the man of the hour, Jim Trunzo. Hey, Jim, how are you?
I'm doing okay, but I don't think I deserve the accolades that you've been throwing at me. I'll take them.
If I'm the only one who believes it, that's good enough for me. I know that I have been so in love with your game for going on almost 50 years now. So I remember picking it up off the shelf. I remember taking it home. I remember sitting down with my friend Chris, pulling out 2 boxers. I'm almost positive our first fight was Dempsey Tunney. I'm almost positive, which is probably the first fight for a lot of people that like boxing and know boxing. And we did the John L. Sullivan and Jim Corbett fight, all the kind of classic fights, and just immediately fell in love with the game. And then I got to say this too, Jim. I've had a total of 2 conversations with you, and truly, you are one of the nicest, most gracious, Look, maybe you're an asshole at home. I don't know, but
Yeah, that's right. That's my wife.
I'm about to say, let's ask his wife, Mark.
I know that, my experience in talking to you is just it's been phenomenal. I feel like I've known you for years, and not everybody presents that way. Some people are just they're sort of cold. They're a little distant. You just strike me as a pretty warm guy, and I think that's a really nice quality to have.
That's 32 years of teaching in public education.
Oh, I didn't realize
wow.
that.
Yeah, I was an English teacher for 32 years in the high school. Many, many years ago, I coached the baseball, coached the softball, and then unfortunately I had to take an early retirement for illnesses, but I latched on to a part-time job with OOTP.
Oh,
The guys from England. Out of the park.
oh, that's what
And,
you were doing when you were doing what's it called, championship boxing?
I'm sorry?
What was the game that preceded Title Bout 2 PC?
Well, I think data boxing,
Maybe that's what
which
I'm
was
thinking of. Yeah.
considered, the boxing game, fairly simple, quick to play, and got to admit the guy knew what he was doing as far as the sport of boxing, and very accurate for what he did. And then the game code also had.
Oh, you're talking. Are you talking about? Just make sure we're on the same page here. Are you talking about what the first boxing game was?
Yeah, before Title Bout with Avalon Hill.
Okay. Yeah, that's a question I posed earlier. So you're saying the first game, at least that you're aware of, is called data boxing.
Right.
And what
The
year?
gentleman
What year did that come out? Dude, any idea?
I'm thinking around mid-70s, maybe
it's funny
a
now
little sooner.
now that you're saying it, that
The guy
name
was a
is
doctor, or
ringing
a
a bell.
professor, or something that,
No
I-
pun intended.
I played it actually.
Yeah. Did they run ads?
not that I'd ever seen. I
Feel like maybe.
met them through when I was writing for The Ring, and I just happened to run into the guy, and that was it.
And Ron, you said you played data boxing?
I played it
How'd you find it?
on a Commodore 64 emulator about 25 years ago.
Oh, wait.
baby.
So you're saying data boxing wasn't a cards and dice game, it was a computer
Yeah.
game?
Well, it was for me. But
Okay.
I'm
So
alive.
yeah, so
I'm
what
probably
I'm
10 times older than all of you.
what I'm trying to come up
It was
with, and maybe
ported over
Daniel,
to the computer, Mark.
it was ported to the computer. So
Right.
it was originally, because the question I'm trying to answer is, what was the first cards and dice boxing game? If anybody knows the answer.
Yeah, I think it would be one of the two. If data boxing was a very small project for the guy, he wasn't in a hurry to push it out. He had a few associates that were hawking it for him. And if it's not that, then it's got to be the other one, the game code. But I think the game code used the spinner, like with their other
Interesting.
games.
Oh,
Yep.
huh. So how did that mechanic work? Do you remember? Like, was it you spin?
It was basically a very simple card. It has all the key categories that to read from the spin, and then it directed you to other places on the
charts.
game board.
I see. Yeah. And the cards were sort of like, were they similar to like All-Star Baseball?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Oh, I see. Daniel, you doing research behind the scenes there?
The
I am not. I
Can't-
don't have a lot of insight.
data boxing is
Okay.
still on sale, by the way.
Yes. Bernie said data box is still available. It's actually not for sale. You can get it for free online.
Even better.
All
Providing
right,
you
so
don't.
so I think the point I'm trying to make here is there weren't a lot of options. Like, guys who make, it starts, the lineage of baseball, we know national pastime leads to APA, which leads to Strat, which leads to and on and on and on. So today you're taking the inspiration. If you want to design a baseball game, you have all of this stuff behind you to sort of inspire you to want to emulate or to change or to fix or to make better. But there was nothing for you to emulate, really.
No, that was the biggest problem, but it was also the reason we made the game. Like I'm sure all of you, we jumped in with an old APA football game, so old that Y.A. Tittle was a star, and then that whet our appetite. But we were young, and it was a little confused. We had a hard time with all the numbers and everything, and this abbreviation. So we were looking for an easier game, and we ran into, of course, Stratomatic, and eventually Status Pro.
Right, man.
Status Pro was the mover behind all these boxing games, and I'll tell you why. We made out 50 different games, and we didn't like any of them because there was no flow. You didn't get a feel like you were being a match. You rolled. Did he land? Yeah. What kind? Roll again. No, he landed a jab. How many points? By the time you were done, you couldn't get a round in. So when Status Pro introduced the fast action
cards,
right. It was like, here's the answer.
I think that unlocked not just boxing. I mean, the flow is great for any sport, but particularly it unlocked the flow for a boxing game, also for basketball. The fast action cards work so well in basketball.
Maybe hockey too.
And yeah, hockey, sure.
Anything up and down, you're constant. Yeah.
So keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off. So so the fast.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So you played Status Pro baseball.
Yeah.
You still hadn't invented a boxing game yet, right?
Not officially. No, we were just playing with it because we couldn't find any out there.
So before we get to and it's you and your brother, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. At the time, my brother was working with me. He stayed with me throughout most of the Avalon Hill years, and then he quit, and I took over by myself.
I kind of remember like your name on. I absolutely remember your name on the box, but I think I remember either his name was on there too, or you guys would write articles.
Yeah, probably All-Star Replay.
Right, exactly.
Some articles, and every now
and
then.
Tom, what was his
Tom? I'm sorry.
His name was Tom.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And Jim Barnes was the gas in our car's engine because the year we made a game up, made 60 heavyweights, and we play tested boxers against boxers, against sluggers.
I want to talk about your developing of the game, but before we get there, let's kind of track this a little bit more linearly. No, well, what I'd like to know is where and how and why you developed such a passion for boxing, because I'm sure that passion for boxing came before you started developing a game.
Relatively easy, and I'm sure a lot of you will relate. The boxing was very big in our family. My dad was the military lightweight champion of his division in the Army, and I'm a midget, just about. I'm only 5'3.5", and he said, you got two choices: either swing back or don't come crying to me. One of the two. If you're gonna run, run. So he was a macho Italian guy that came straight over from Italy with his parents, and so that was the mentality. We had two pictures in our hallway before we went into the bedroom. One was of the Pope. The other one was Rocky Marciano. So that pretty much spelled out what was happening there. Where
did you grow up?
It was a little town called Leechburg, Pennsylvania. Okay. Maybe 40 minutes outside. It's Western PA, and 40 minutes towards the northwest of. I'm trying to think of Pittsburgh. So
like an old mining town or steel town kind of thing?
Unfortunately, both of those. That's what happened. And I'm sure it's the same story with so many. Right. It was all the coal mine and the mills, and nobody ever thought there wouldn't be a coal mine or a mill. But eventually the mines played out. The steel started getting shipped overseas. People started losing jobs. And when Allegheny Ludlam, which was the steel mill for us, when they shut down, nothing came in. Right. We were too small. We were one town in a conglomerate of four that made up a circle that was called the Elikiski Valley. And all of them were like cookie cutters. You know, you had your corner, you had your post office, you had your corner grocery store, you had a gas, but none of them were ever going to be confused with a great place to put
Right.
a business that you would want customers coming in. You know, no bread and mortar or brick and mortar show.
So you grew up on boxing. You took up boxing. Fell in love with the sport. I'm guessing, you know, watching all the fights. What was it? Friday night fights? Was that?
Oh yeah, Wednesday. Eventually, it was like Wednesday night fights, Friday night fights. But not to cut you off, but the big
please cut me off.
big move with considering Friday night boxing was the ritual. When you were a young kid, and if your dad said, "I'm going out to your uncle's to watch the color TV and watch this boxing match. You want to come along?" Oh, that was it. You had it. You made it. It didn't matter. They would swear in front of you, which was cool. They would drink in front of you. That was great, you know. And I actually, in black and white, saw an old Sugar Ray Robinson actually lose a 10-rounder. And that upset me a little, but I took it. And that was the crown for the sport as far as I was concerned.
Who did you lose to? Do you remember?
I'm sorry?
Do you remember who he lost to?
It was a journeyman fighter.
So this is like late in his career.
Yeah. And he beat him relatively easily. Of course, Robinson was Methuselah by that time.
Right.
So, you know.
All right. So now let's, you know, fast forward. You're playing status pro baseball. You and your brother, you start thinking about, let's make a boxing game. So now take us through that.
Okay. Well, like I said, the seeing the mechanism of the fast action cars gave us that kind of flow that we wanted. I mean, we knew it was never going to be something perfect like you know, some type of arcade boxing, but for a board game, we liked the way it played. We liked the speed that was developing, and so we made a little 60-card test game, and we gave it to status pro guy,
Jim Barnes.
Jim Barnes.
Yeah.
So he issued it. He was nice enough. It was right before Christmas, and darned if the guy didn't get us into his brochure. And there, you know, a nice, almost a half a page showing the boxing game, and so we started selling it. Sold quite well.
Well, okay, but I mean, I personally, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, you know, Daniel and Ron and Mike, but I really like hearing about the process, you know, of, you know, coming up with the numbers, the math. You know, for those of you who don't know Title Bout, what makes it special? Well, a lot of things make it special, but it's the way it plays out in pretty small increments of time. I mean, I think in Title Bout 2 PC, it's 4 seconds. Right? I believe, yeah, pretty sure it's 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And so it's a punch by punch or a move by move. So you might throw a punch, hit a land, miss. You might ring move where you're dancing around, or your clutch, clinch rather. But so the way it starts is a boxer has a rating that's called his control rating, and I believe that goes. I know the top number is 12. I don't know if there actually is. I guess you could conceivably have a 1, but it's not going to be a very good. But
not worth the paper you'd be
right. It's really not right. But you know, generally speaking, I think the lowest that I remember seeing, I think there were some 5s and 4s, right?
And yeah, I'm trying to think if any 3s crept in, but I think 5 and 4 was the maximum low. So it was too much of a gap.
And what's the
good
point?
Guys
and like you said,
guys,
and like what's the
you know,
point?
and it was a waste of time.
So you flip a card to see who's in control, and then that's the fighter card that you're going to look at. Then you flip another fast action card to see what the result is. And again, like the result might be a landed punch, a missed punch, and then it's back and forth. And then you have to keep control. And then the other guy gets control. And these numbers are adjusted, there's things like hitting power, killer instinct, aggression, which is a big one. Aggression determines who starts the round. So I don't want to give. I mean, you guys can go find the rules someplace. But I do want people to understand that when we're talking about flow, I think for the time it was genius. It really did feel like boxing. So I would like to know, beyond just, hey, we like fast action cards. More specifically, how did you come up with control? How did you come up with K1 and K2, or whatever it is? And there's a lot under the hood with this game.
Yeah,
but it's not complicated. But it's not complicated at all.
The original game isn't. I was about
it's gotten more so.
If I made a mistake, it was trying to be too perfect and throw everything I could into the game, which worked, but it lengthened it. It made it more difficult. When you had to consult a ringside doctor because your fighter got cut.
Yeah, there is that stuff. But I think those kind of advanced roles, you can
for the hardcore.
Pick and choose what you want, but your basic core game is still the same. And it was a beautiful framework for a really great gaming experience. So how did you come up with that kind of stuff, like control and killer instinct?
We knew in general that we wanted some type of control factor. There's only two people. It's not like an offensive line that's got a block or pass it, fast break. It's two people in the ring. So what's the key? And we started at the simplest, okay? Throw a punch, get hit with a punch, dodge a punch, whatever. So we built that up and we play tested it from this number to that number to this number. And when we finally got where we liked it, and we always used to say two guys, Marciano and Ali all the time. Right, so that we saw the epitome of a boxer and
also remember
of a slugger.
Remember there had been that early TV thing where they did a computer simulation and that's like one of my earlier childhood sports memories, and that was so cool. So I'm sure that was inspirational for you guys as well.
Oh yeah. So the question then is, now how do we work everything else in, and how do we make it legitimate? And because I was young and impetuous and stupid, I picked up the phone. I called Ring Magazine, and I got a hold. Let's see, Steve Farhood was my editor, but before him, the guy from England, Colin, irrelevant, not you, sir, but and we called them and we spoke to the editor, and he said, I have a young guy we just hired. His name's Randy Gordon. He said, he's this high on boxing. He loves it. He said, maybe he'll do it for you. So we got in touch with him. And what we did was we sent him what basically was a spreadsheet before spreadsheets existed, or at least until when they came down to, they weren't the size of a wall, right. So we sent him a spreadsheet with every category that we wanted to include in the game, blank.
Oh, wow.
And then we paid him to go ahead and put his numbers in to these boxers. And it was 120 at that point. We were very excited because we were able to work in some of your trial horses, and it wasn't just a hit parade of, let's play him against him and see the greatest champion. No, we made it so that, hey, take your guy from. I even told them, create yourself.
Sure.
Take these guys and start fighting them at 3 and see how high you can go. So that was it. When his ratings came in, and we already had the categories, it was a question of, all right, how do we allocate the cards? How do we establish the parameters? It's going to be one, but what if it's 1 through 40? Is that a lot better than 1 through 42? Is it much better than 1 through 38?
You're talking about in terms of like punches landed.
Yeah, nothing beyond throwing a punch and seeing who's in control. The other guys, nothing. Very simple, just to see if that mechanism was working. But what we found happened, and this is why it was delayed years before Avalon Hill finally released it, was that
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know, well, the year after we put out our own game, we put out our own game and sold about maybe 1,000 games, made a couple $1,000. But the next year, Status Pro went out of business. Not per se, but they got bought up by
Avalon Hill.
Yeah, and
Right.
Avalon Hill was under a mandate from Sports Illustrated.
Oh.
That you fly that banner, you call yourself a product in the line, but you can't go sell it anywhere else. You can't. We've got the name, and now we need to know how long would it take to produce a playable game. And we said, well, at that point, we said, we're pretty close right now. Bottom line is, a year passed, and we sent them the first version of the game, and they loved it. And that was the blue with
the blue box.
They did it very poorly.
You can actually, you can't really
Ken
make
Norton
out,
on the cover. That was so illegal. They just took a nice boxing shot. Ken Norton's one of the guys.
That's right.
And they smeared his face, gave him big eyes or something, but it was definitely him, but there was no name there. So they weren't risking a lot. And those guys were really cautious of the potential of stepping on copyrights and so forth.
So I'm sorry if there's more to the story. Please continue.
Yeah, well, that's it. But back to getting the game. What happened was something we never even thought of. The categories were affected by other categories on the card. Now, I'm not talking outcomes. I'm talking the entire category. For example, I throw a punch. We see if it lands, misses, whatever. And then things start to go. Let's say he hits him. Well, how hard does he hit him?
Right.
And that became the columns to 2 and 3.
2 points or 3 points.
Right. But trying to cut this short for you, the problem was everything piggybacked. If I hit you, I had to find out, did you go down?
Right.
If you went down, did you get up?
Right.
If you got up, at what count? Because I'm giving you points here. And what's the effect of the knockdown? Not just in the scoring, but how did your card get adjusted to accept that knockdown? And it got worse. I mean, everything we added just made it. Then it was like, okay, you're moving. What's that mean? What's the use of it? Is it just a flip of a card? No, you go to the corners or you go,
Well, it's kind of like the one thing that I don't think Title Bout or any game is able to really do effectively, quite frankly, is with Title Bout, you've got ring movement or clinch. And if it's a ring movement, you tally it up. And if I remember correctly, the original rules, the person who has more ring movements versus clinches, they get an extra point or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
It was either that or, like I said, that's a long time ago. If you clinched too much during the bout, you lost the point.
Right.
That was kind of hokey because you lost it at the end of the fight.
Exactly.
It might have meant something tremendous, or it might have meant something totally irrelevant.
And you had a little piece that you could move from left corner to right corner, but it was pretty meaningless. It didn't really matter where the piece was. Nothing changed
as long as you had on your board or somewhere fighting off the ropes, and you made any adjustment when he went on.
Right.
That's you didn't need a chart at all. It was mostly just like, hey, you're going to lose. He's getting 2 extra control slots. He's not a 1 through 10 now. He's a 1 through 12.
Yep.
And you're stuck on the rope. You lose 1. So you were at 9. Now you're an 8.
Yep.
And it went.
And that's again. I'm. This is for the benefit of the people watching. And that was that's the beauty of the game, that it's very fluid. And your ratings are going up and down, round by round, and in some cases within the round. And I've probably fought, I can't even put a number. I mean, it's over 1,000. Well, I'm way over 1,000 fights. The accuracy of the game you know, is really impressive. I mean, your best heavyweight fighters, you can do tournaments all day long. Ali is going to be up there, but he's beatable, but it's tough. It's really tough to beat Ali. Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Marciano, who's actually not quite as good as
I was just about to say.
Yeah, not quite as good because of his deficiencies, and it plays out, you know, in the cards. Another thing I loved about the original game, I really want to have other guys ask questions, but I'll just wrap up my time for now with this. Another thing I loved was the cards were amazing because on the back you didn't get pictures, which I know we all love. We all love our pictures. But what you did get that was even better than pictures, because a picture is just a guy's face, right? What you got was his record and a bio. So you got to learn on this small card that, you know, about that big, you got to learn who these people were. And maybe you know, and what their nickname was, and it was really, really cool. And it made you fall even more in love with the history of the sport. That's the thing I really like about Title Bout is, you know, I don't even consider myself, I mean, I like boxing. I grew up watching boxing, but I'm not, you know, some sort of like boxing. I got to watch boxing. I'm really not. But the game is so good that it makes you want to keep reliving these fights or replaying these fights or matching up this guy against that guy. It's one of my all-time favorite games.
I'm very appreciative. Tried our best to get enough fighters that if you wanted to try to duplicate a career,
yeah,
you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, that was good.
So guys, your turn. Ron, you got questions for Jim?
Sorry, you're all put to sleep.
Yeah.
No,
not at all. Not at all.
All yours, Todd. Go, you guys.
So talk about the OOTP game, because you talked about that before. That's the one I probably played the most of yours, because it came with so many thousands of boxers, and you could just do so much with it that you couldn't necessarily. It would take you years to do with cards and dice what you could do with that.
Yeah, absolutely. When we went in on a deal with OTTP, it was primarily because he had tried to get, he being the guy from Germany. That's where OTP,
Marcus Heinzen.
Yeah. They came over to the U.S., got together about 5 different independents in San Diego, and we sat there and brainstormed, could we put these all together under one company?
Oh, interesting.
And you can anticipate what happened. Everybody, oh, hey, sounds good. Who's in charge? And there it went. Right. You know, I think my system's better. Well, you know, I have a bigger market, and we just sat there, dumped a shrimp. To hell with it, you know. we had our guy, but so the German guys left, and very rapidly a couple other people dropped out. But we established a good relationship with the guys in Germany, and they said they have an excellent programmer. How about we do this on the computer? I said, well, just so you understand, I said, someone else did it already on the computer. Lance Hafner.
Oh, he had a boxing game?
Yeah. It's called KO Boxing.
Oh,
and to this day, I like it as much as anything that's out there. It was simple, but it was a typical Lance Hafner game. You know, there were no thrills or frills. There was, you know, it was just here,
groundbreaking stuff for the
80s. But
you know, for the time, it was groundbreaking. His stuff, Hafner stuff.
Yeah. Then what happened, sir, was that DOS turned into Windows.
Yeah.
And everybody else was putting out, even if it were just charts and tables, they were in color and they were, you know, they were eye-catching. And here we are with white and beige, you know, or yellow.
Right.
So when they offered to turn it over to Windows, we took care of our agreement with Lance Hafner, and we said, go for it. And the first game they put out was magnificent, I think. And then it started to go downhill about 2 years after that, because I didn't have the call. They did. It was their business. And they decided to open it up so that anybody who wanted to rate a fighter could rate it.
Oh.
Not only that, anybody who didn't like the ratings that we gave them which
Change them, yeah.
is not a big problem. They could change. So you come in and you want to get Marciano. Well, which one do you take? There's 4 of them there, you know?
Oh, so they were allowing user created boxers to be listed
Right.
with the official created boxer.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one thing to have the flexibility to change the ratings. I mean, as kids, my friend Chris used to change your ratings all the time. He would take a 7 and turn it. He was just really into that stuff. He wanted to be perfect.
Well, and I certainly never tried to pass myself off as some outstanding historian, but
it just for
when
some
you got
people,
a guy,
for some people, it just something feels more right than.
and I don't have the problem.
that's fine,
If you go back and look at one of the rule books, somewhere in there it says, "Don't forget, this is your game. You paid your money for it.
Sure.
So if you want to change something, change it. You don't have to check with me. That's fine.
Right.
And if it works, it works. Maybe you can tell me and I can make my game better. But the problem is, like I said, everybody knows everything, or so they think.
Right.
And we had some of the most atrocious ratings changes on our fighters. And we told the company that was doing it because OTTP sold the game to someone else. And we
I bought it 2 or 3 times because
there
I
you
kept
go,
losing
yeah.
licenses.
And we said, hey, we don't want our name associated with this because it looks like there's nothing there that really spells out that, hey, he didn't rate all these. Some Joe Palooka down at the bar was drunk and he did me this Elmer Fudd fighter, you know. And,
so I was playing this game. It was Title Bout Championship Boxing. Is that right?
Yeah.
This would have been maybe 2011, 2010, 2012. So was I playing the good version or the not good version?
If you only had one of every fighter, unless it were multiple divisions. Like
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember seeing more than one fighter.
Yeah, then it was
and I liked
the original that we had.
I liked
that we did. When you start getting into multiple people, where you look and you say, Marciano's only a 3 hitting power. Somebody doesn't like Italians, you know, and you know, and then you got somebody else's feedback.
As I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, the thing about that version and why I like Title Bout 2 PC maybe even more is because the championship boxing was a closed engine. So you didn't really get to see everything behind the scenes. Whereas with Title Bout 2 PC, it's basically a port and mostly a ported game.
Yeah,
so
just like you said, 8 seconds, 8
cars.
seconds, 4 seconds.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, at that point, we reached an agreement, and they took over the game and took our names off it and went from there, And then at that point, we did nothing. We'd reached a point, I'm trying to think time-wise, where my brother and I both Tom quit right away. As soon as Avalon Hill was done and he started collecting royalties, it wasn't his sport. He didn't like it. We didn't even invite him to come out and watch on Friday. The hell with him, But he was a big football guy, big wrestler guy. But boxing was okay, but it wasn't his forte. He was a tremendous guy, but he was tremendous with math. I'd tell him, hey Tom, we're getting too many cuts on fighters who are rated. Figure out a formula that'll keep everybody equal, but cut down on the number of cuts. And a day later, he'd say, "Try this one," and he did an awfully lot of the math, probably all of it. I'm not sure I can add yet. So he was an integral part, but then he was busy. He coached this, he coached that. He was a principal, and so he just got too busy and he didn't care.
So, guys, I want to at some point in the near future get to this because I don't know if you know this, Jim. We're going to be doing a tournament tonight.
You had mentioned
four middleweight boxers. The first fight's going to be Sugar Ray Robinson versus actually that'll be the second fight. First fight will be Bernard Hopkins against Jake LaMotta. I'm taking LaMotta. Daniel, you going to stick with us? You want to take Hopkins?
No, I'm taking off. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to leave here pretty soon.
I understand. All right. Well, I want you to be able to ask a question, but before you go. But anyway, that's what we're gonna be doing. So Daniel, maybe we'll wrap you up here. Do you have
Sure.
any questions for? No, well, not wrap you up, Jim. Wrap you up, Daniel. Do you have any questions for Jim?
I don't actually. I haven't
Okay.
played Title Bout before, but it was very nice to meet you.
Well, you as well, sir. And best of luck on whatever you're trying.
Thank you.
And that
All
was
right.
it. If you ever have a question, feel free to get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
Daniel,
what
I
I mean,
still
stay,
pop a lot, obviously.
so
I just
Daniel,
don't
stay with
make
us,
the
or
game.
as you see fit, basically.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Go ahead, Ron.
So Jim, what was the impetus behind Title Bout 2 then?
Nobody would believe this if they were reading it in a novel. We quit. Avalon
Right.
Hill dropped the. Oh, that's what prompted Avalon Hill dropped the game. They had a bottom line, and if your game ever sold below that number of games, you were in jeopardy. And if it's 2 years in a row, it was under what they expected, they cut it. So they called us and they said, "Look, you got all your rights back, but we're not making."
What year was that?
Oh boy.
Ballpark. You don't
They
have to
got
be exact.
their game in 1979 was the first year they put theirs out, and I would say about 96 or 97.
Oh, that late.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the game Avalon Hill sold it for almost 18 years,
Yeah.
maybe
So
15.
maybe that had as much to do with the problems that Avalon Hill was having, which because they were having a lot of problems by then, and the fact that maybe at that point, remember there was a pretty big dip in boxing popularity.
Oh yeah,
Kind of after Tyson, and before
until the Big Four came along again.
right,
Lewis, Leonard,
right.
Hearns, etc. When those four
Well,
guys
that was
came,
earlier, yeah,
they rejuvenated it.
right.
But yeah, well, and at the time, like I said, yeah, it reflected in sales, and we understood. So we took, I'm thinking at least a 3-year hiatus. Might have been less. It seemed like forever, and we couldn't find anybody else who wanted to produce it. I used to write for White Wolf magazine. These guys were the guys that did Werewolf the Apocalypse and Vampire, the Darkness thing. Right. I mean, they were big.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
But Daniel's eyes lit right up when you
Yeah,
said that.
Daniel, you want to?
Yeah, I'm not muted. Okay, yeah, no, those are a bunch of I think those are sort of tabletop role playing games. I haven't played either one of them. But when I was in middle school, I was heavily into Magic the Gathering, and I can remember those games being advertised in the whatever the magazine was called. I used to get to check out card prices, so that was like 25 years ago. But yeah,
cool.
I know those.
Oh,
games.
Wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. With did it have the prices of all the Magic cards? And that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to mess around with that. I mean, our cards were in awful shape, so it was in middle school at the lunch table. So
Right.
yeah, good
Lots
time.
of mustard.
Yeah.
So we were thought, well, we're done. We'll just enjoy what somebody else does, and if we come up with something good, and then I got a call from the owner of White Wolf magazine. He and his brother did White Wolf magazine, and that was the house organ for the Vampire the Apocalypse or Werewolf, and they were all horror fantasy games. And he said, "Jim, I'm going back into business. I just bought a store and I need games." He said, "You have anything?" And I lied, of course. I said, "Oh, hell yeah, I got stuff everywhere. How many do you want?" And he said, "No, seriously." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I've got a really good design for a gladiator game." And he said, "Good." Shipped it to him. I was done. I designed, and he took everything else, finances, marketing, the bit. And we sold, this is unheard of, I think, for a gladiator game because it's such a niche, and think about the age of these people. They probably don't even know how to spell it, let alone, use it. And it was not an easy game either, but it was called Gladiator Quest for the Rudis. And you could play it as a role-playing game. You could just play it one-on-one, whatever you want to do, build your stable. And we sold 2,500 of that at
Wow.
$50 a piece.
Wow.
And, I mean, it was astronomical. And then he called back and said, what do you want to do next? And I said, well, how about a Western game? You know, I was trying to stay away from what he's already done and what I'd done before, something new. Unfortunately, he went to fencing practice one morning, and the next day I picked up the paper and he had died.
Oh,
Yeah.
In a fencing accident?
No, he didn't realize it, but he had, he ended up with a severe heart attack. He died on the spot.
Oh, Jesus.
He had just come off the mats. It was just a practice. He told his wife and his kids, he said, I'll be back in an hour. You guys want to do something, we'll do it. He went, got on the mat, made a few passes, didn't feel so good, started to walk off straight down.
Jeez.
And that was it. So his brother and his wife called. The wife was in real financial straits because the guy that I'm talking about, went whole hog. He bought some other little companies with games. He brought in somebody else. Then you got what should I own? I should own a game store. I'm selling games. So he bought a game store, and then he died on her. And it was terrible. And
take us to Title Bout 2. So how do we get to Title Bout 2 from there?
Okay, what we were planning was there was a gap. There were certain gaps in his year schedule where, okay, we're releasing a major game here. We don't want to give it competition on our own. There's a game here. It's a huge one. I got a license for it. We're going to do that. And he said, but right here, we've got a 3-month gap where we don't have anything. I said, oh, hell, I got my old Title Bout game. I said, I've redone it all. No, yeah. Okay. Called China or Japan.
Had you actually redone it yet or no?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
I never stopped playing around with it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I went over it again, made sure everything was okay, sent it to him. And like I said, he died. And they called me and said, we can't do this anymore. He says, so it came to two things. We were dealing with a company in Asia. They had, when we started with them, it was a 500 game limit. You had to order a minimum of 500 games. Then, and the shipping was ridiculous, of course, and all of that. But we started looking at the numbers, and they didn't just jive. We knew how many games we would have to sell. And my wife wasn't crazy about having to pack them up, take them to the mailbox, etc. So we were going to dive on it. And then I said, I just can't let this go. I think what I have here is better. So I spoke with the owner of the company that was making the games.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I can go 250 games. I can order 250. He says, we have this limit. He said, and we're going to jump it. We're going to take it to 1,000 games. I said, well, so say goodbye now then. He said, 250. I said, yeah. Okay. And he did it for 250. And
so that
the Title Bout in the blue box, the big one came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, when we called to have the next version done, it had gone up to a minimum of 1,000 games bought at retail, which meant $20,000, which I didn't have, something $19,000. And then we had to pay he changed it, so we did all the post too, coming out, shipping it over, paying customs and the bit. And I said, I'll do it myself, and I did. I went around and pieced it together. This guy did the cars. This guy did the box. This guy did.
This man is a hustler, folks.
Well, it was either that or watching.
I mean, in the best sense of that. So we should probably wrap this up and get to our game here pretty soon.
Sure, sure.
I wanted to talk about a topic that I posted about, and we'll wrap with this, at least this portion of the show.
Fine. Hey, gentlemen, thank you. I hope I didn't bore you too much.
No.
No.
But you're not going anywhere yet, because this is where we need your expertise.
I'm still here.
I believe that of all the sports that people simulate through these games, boxing is the one where you can most realistically match boxers from two eras and get and I mean and the result is actually realistic. And what I mean by that is, yes, you could play give me the great Packers team. Was it
62 Packers?
62 Packers against the 2012 Patriots. And you can do that in 2nd and 10 football. You can do it in action PC football, and you can pretend that it's going to be a good game. But in reality, if the two of them ever actually met, the 2020 Patriots would beat the 60. It would be 50-0.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
Right. But boxing, I firmly believe that, take somebody like Jack Johnson. Now, I don't know how heavy he was, but I mean, the weight classes haven't really changed. So
except for the heavyweight, and that's
now,
then they introduced the cruiserweights and the juniors. But you're right.
I mean, I realize that
light heavy's down.
Yeah,
you have a limit. So if you were a heavyweight at 220, you can't do that. You got to be 175 for the light heavies.
And I realize that there are guys today who are 290 pounds and they're 6'7",
right.
And Joe Frazier might have a hard time with that guy, but I think if you kept them reasonably, in other words,
I agree.
Fitness, nutrition, all of that, all those advances, I don't think they apply to boxing, because boxing has always been about quick feet. Boxers, back in the day, they deliberately didn't train with necessarily the most modern techniques, because they were training for one thing and one thing only: boxing.
Exactly, that's true, no question.
So I don't know, and I want to know what you guys think. I'll bet you I know what Daniel thinks. By the way, I guarantee you I know what Daniel thinks because of his age. He's going to say I'm crazy. Daniel, do you think I'm crazy?
For saying this, I don't know enough about boxing to say one way or another, to be honest.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's the one sport where whether the guys from Joe Louis would be able to fight
Mel Turnbow
any fighter from today, unless you're now talking about a 6'9",
the Lennox Lewis guys, the Klitschko's.
I mean, he could fight any of those guys, and I don't think you would have to grade on a curve. I don't think you would have to era adjust.
Right. I'm with you.
Ron, what do you think?
No, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Michael, thoughts?
Yep. No, I agree too. It makes sense.
Well, I don't know if Bernie's still with us, but he didn't agree when I mentioned it on Facebook, and maybe he's changed his tune a little bit. But and I had the reason why I didn't think Daniel would agree with this, because a lot of people who are younger, they refuse to accept the fact that there are things from 40 or 50 years ago that are still actually as good or better than they are today. I have a friend who's about 10, 12 years younger than me, and he's a computer programmer. Oh, he's not a program. He's a he works for a computer game, for a video game company. He does the user interface for a huge company. And he and I had this long conversation about boxing, and he believes that with advances, there's no way, just blah, 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 and blah. And I was like, you know what? Put Joe Louis in a ring with anybody you want from today, and or not just Joe Louis. I mean, any of these guys, Jack Dempsey. I mean, these guys were strong. I don't think guys have gotten any. It's not a sport. Okay, football, baseball, you might be the same height, weight, as a guy from the 1950s. The reason why you're better today is because you're so much faster around the bases.
Well,
And
how much,
equipment.
how much has the sport of boxing actually evolved
Right.
over the last
Right.
100
Right.
years? You know,
That
I mean,
hasn't changed.
I mean, you look at the big four; they're all dramatically different today than they were 40 years ago, and it was dramatically different from 40 years before that. So, but boxing, the science of boxing really hasn't changed all that much over the years, which I think, outside of some extreme size differences.
Which is why you can take
Well,
title bout and you can fight guys like Joe Lewis and put him up against Lennox Lewis. And if Lewis wins, which he probably will, it's because he is the better fighter.
Yeah.
It's not that there's no era adjustment needed there. What were you going to say, Jim?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see what
So
Bernie
it's
has
all
to say.
yours.
Bernie says boxing is not only about talent, but it's also conditioning. The boxer in the best shape usually wins. I completely agree.
True.
But
Absolutely.
I don't think a boxer today, I don't think there's like some sort of magical formula that would put a boxer today in better condition than a boxer 50, 60 years ago. If that boxer 50 or 60 years ago chose to be in condition. I mean, how many stories have we heard about
Jack Johnson comes to mind and all his womanizing and all that.
Right, exactly. Right. Great example. Yeah.
I remembered what I was going to say.
Great.
And which is a good thing for me at this stage. The biggest problem was like trying to adjust the bare knuckle guys
Sure.
who were right on the fringe of the glove and bare knuckle thing, And the other thing was
yeah, that's a
the
good
lack
point.
of
I would say the
information,
bare knuckle. Yeah, the bare and so now you're talking about the John L. Sullivans, guys who had transitioned from bare knuckle into gloves.
Right.
I guess Jim Corbett probably would be in that category.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So yeah,
Now-
they would be touched. Yes, it would be tough to go. Yeah, there you would need to do some sort of error adjustment probably. And they were fighting 70 rounds too, right?
Yeah, and like every game that you guys played, whether it was 10 years ago or yesterday, it's very difficult to try to subtly work in the human element.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're going to do something like, okay, if you're using Marciano and he goes down, you got to do it roll a second time because you got to knock him down twice in a row for him to drop. It was so difficult to work. It didn't matter. If we did this, there were too many knockdowns. If we did that, there were too many. There weren't enough knockdowns. And that went with just about every category, the swelling of eyes, cuts and so forth.
And that, that's a math thing ultimately. If I can't speak to this because I'm not a math guy, but I know what I'm trying to say. You need to have enough randomness in the numbers so that guys that didn't get knocked out, they may have gotten knocked down, but they didn't get knocked out.
Right.
You need to have a system that allows for that, basically.
Right.
And ultimately that comes down to math, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once we had the tables made up, it didn't matter
Right.
who we wanted to use as long as we could put the correct, it's garbage in, garbage out. If we did a good job researching the fighter, he did a good job duplicating what he could do.
Some guys, you knock them down, you basically knocked them out. Other guys, you can knock them down 10 times and they're getting back up and they're getting back up and they're getting back up.
My last question, because I know we want to actually get going with these two bouts. Jim, was there one boxer over the years that after you got rated and tested that you might have felt was underappreciated?
Salvador Sanchez.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned him to me. Yeah.
If that guy hadn't died, he'd have probably ended up in the top 3 all-time fighters in that division. I mean, he was just when he beat the heck out of Azuma Nelson to win the title, and Azuma Nelson was a monster. He was tough guy, and Salvador handled him like he was an amateur. And I thought, ooh, this guy is going to be good. And he was charismatic, good-looking kid. Then he had to drive 180 miles an hour and kill himself.
So he was a kid.
So I keep saying last question, but this is from somebody in the chat. MV Gaming's asking Jim, what is his opinion of the super middleweight division fighters of the past?
Can I answer that?
Yes,
Do you have time?
Yeah, sure.
Comes down to the games that they play nowadays. In other words, if you were a super middleweight when the class was introduced, it was there because you could not compete as a full welterweight, but you were too good for a junior lightweight, you know?
Right.
So they would fudge, you know, they would just fudge it. It's like, hey, you got a
Sure.
shot at a championship as a middleweight. So you're not going to cut the weight that you did before to make it super middleweight. If you don't do well as a middleweight, we bring you back. If
What
you do
era-
well,
what
there's
era
more
did-
money in the middleweights than there is on the super middleweights.
These super divisions that kind of came up like in the 70s and 80s, right? A lot of them, or no?
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah. So wouldn't
Once-
some of it also be a way of making sure you could match up guys like Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, you know, Duran? Because if you create those, you know, intermediate divisions, they can make that weight. But if
Yeah,
if
there
all
were a
you
lot of
have-
guys that would never have been carded
Right.
had they not had the middle divisions.
right.
They've, you know, not so many did it, but most of them that was their career in that division.
Got
Then-
you on the wide world of
then
sports
once-
too.
I'm sorry.
It got you on the wide world of sports too, because it has a space for them.
Right. And, you know, these people, excuse me, they wanted to use some of the big names in the junior middle class. John Mugabe, huge slugger. You know, he wouldn't have made it because he wasn't a middleweight at the time. And we could go on with a list of really super fighters who went up and down. Look at even today, Pacquiao. He got 8
Mhm.
belts now or something like
Right.
that. There's only 17 divisions. What's he, you know, and he can't get down to lightweights. But you know, that's just it. Where's the money,
Right.
and what do I have to do to get it? 90. This. I'm not making this up. 20% of all the money generated by boxing goes to the fighters. That's it. 80% goes elsewhere, and then they start chopping it from there.
Right.
Now, if you're Joe Schmo, you're getting about you fighting for $2,000. You know, the only people that get those big numbers are the guys that are way up on top. You know, they made it. Okay, now, you know, enjoy what you're doing. But yeah, the game has changed to an extent. More knowledge. People that are serious about it, better ways to stay in shape, easier way to lose weight.
That's true. Yeah.
Plus, they didn't get down
Yeah.
after the fight. They didn't go sell newspapers.
All right. Well, we need to get to our
Yeah,
fight.
please do.
And we're going to be showing off your game title bout. So we're looking forward to doing that. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. Let's do this again. You are truly a legend. Your game is phenomenal. Your passion for the hobby, your passion for boxing, it's unrivaled. And I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it very much. It was enjoyable to be here. Like I said, my worry is always that I'm going to bore somebody, but
Nope, not at all. Not
talk
at
about
all.
what's in here
Not
and
here.
what I loved, and we'll go from there.
Great. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, you take care.
Bye-bye. Jim Trunzo, everybody. That man is something special. I'm going to take my quick break. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. Anything you guys feel like talking about, feel free. And when I come back, we'll set up for title bout. Okay? Sound good?
Sounds good.
Be right back.
All right, I'm gonna sneak out, guys. But I'll talk with you guys next week.
Have a good one.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, it's kind of sad in a way, Michael, because it was such a staple of television when I was a kid. There'd
Yeah.
be fights on Saturdays and Sundays, and you'd watch,
Yeah.
because they were athletic. The
Right.
bigger fights had moved to HBO or closed circuit television.
It's a closed circuit TV. Yep. I remember those days. Yeah.
And it's too bad that all the premium fights now are pay-per-view, because do
Right.
you really want to sink 50, 60 bucks into people that you don't really know?
No.
I mean, that was a thing. Ali and Wide World, even if his fights weren't live on Wide World of Sports, you knew who he was, and you wanted to watch. But
yeah. I mean, I think they used to show that his fights maybe the following Saturday if he fought on Saturday. And
yeah,
I think some of the highest rated shows were that people wanted to see his fight. Didn't matter that you knew the results and it was a week later. It was like it was Muhammad Ali. You had to watch it.
I mean, it's such, just kind of cut across in such a cultural way that you kind of felt like you had to watch. But
absolutely,
I think the downfall was I watched the Boom Boom Mancini fight when he killed the kid from South Korea.
Yeah,
was one of the last 15-round fights. So that was what, 81, 82, somewhere in there, and that was kind of the. I mean, I grew up in southern Vermont, which wasn't very far from where Mike Tyson fought.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would fight in Albany, he'd fight at Glens Falls and such like that. But they'd get him on TV, and the fight would be over in 30 seconds.
Yep.
Now they do because you're down by Foxwoods. They still do cards down there, or no?
No. In fact, my father used to work security when he retired from his first job. He worked security at Foxwoods, and that's what he did. He did the boxing matches, and they would have them in the old bingo hall. I don't think they've had any fights that I know of in the last.
Need another minute, guys.
Yep,
sure. I know Mohegan Sun has a lot of the Ultimate Fighting, MMA matches, but regular boxing, no. I don't even remember the last time there was a boxing.
Yeah, I know that for the longest time, New York wouldn't legalize MMA, so Mohegan Sun benefited because you couldn't do them at the Garden.
Right.
Which is not the case anymore. It's just so out of the. It's. I suppose for your head protection, it's not necessarily bad that it's out of the mainstream, but it really was. I think if you were to sit there and talk to a kid about, there was an artistry to it, and I mean, obviously it's a brutal sport, but.
I went to one match at the Mohegan Sun. A friend of mine worked at the Sun and got me free tickets.
Boxing or MMA?
MMA. And my first and only time I went, we had right down by the ring or the cage.
Oh, so you got spattered.
Oh, it was disgusting. It was just
I've tried to watch a couple of those, and good for the college kids who went to school on wrestling scholarships that they actually were able to have a professional career in something, but it's hard to watch.
It is. It's a hard way to make a living, I'll tell you.
I mean, you're going to get the absolute snot kicked out of you. I will say, though, as far as cross-era sports, and I'll ask Mark before he gets to set up, horse racing. I mean, Secretariat's records are still on the books, and
I thought about that. Funny you bring that out. I thought about that the other day, and it was like I was watching, the last two races, and I was sitting there, and I was like, Secretariat still owns all these records, and with all the technology, I mean, the horses, they're still the same. I mean, even though they may train better, they have better facilities. Nobody's even really come close to Secretariats.
Oh, what was his Belmont win? Was he broke the record by what? Like 2 3/5 or something like that?
Yeah,
just good. So you'll be old enough to appreciate this joke, and I haven't been able to use it yet. So I'm watching the Preakness on delay from the 6 people.
Did I hear you'll appreciate this joke?
Yes.
Are you guys having a joke contest?
No.
Oh. So go away for 2 minutes. It's open mic night.
That's right. Hey, no respect. So I'm watching the replay of the Preakness in front of the 7 people at Laurel, and so I'm watching Napoleon Solo win the damn thing, which was an impressive run for him, and I'm thinking, well, this is the horse from Uncle.
I get it.
Yes, Napoleon
Solo, yes.
Napoleon Solo, the horse from Uncle, wins the Preakness. Now, hopefully they'll run him at the Belmont along with Golden Road, who skipped.
Yeah.
For not only the first female trainer to to win a derby, but she's from Saratoga, and the Belmont this year is at Saratoga.
Yes.
Mark, what I was saying to Michael before we went into open mic night was the other sport that I could think of that you could probably do cross era is horse racing.
Oh, you know what? I thought of that the other day when I came up with my boxing thing. I thought the exact same thing. Yes.
Well, I mean, not to
Horse
take
racing.
anything away from the boxing argument, but the fact that Secretary
because a horse is a horse, of course.
Unless, of course, the name
Mr.
of the
Ed.
horse is the famous Mr. Ed,
Right.
who was a mule.
Francis.
So that would be but yes, those would be the two.
All right. I am setting up Title Bout to get us to the proper screen here. Apologies. I meant to put in pictures and I forgot. But for those of you who have never played, you can easily put in two pictures. One that's like kind of just a look at the guy's face. And then you can do an action photo of that same boxer, which I do, but I just forgot. I just had to reinstall Title Bout 2 and I forgot to do that. So here's what we're going to do. I think in the interest of time, instead of doing, 2-2 and a championship, we'll just do 2 fights. So it'll be a king of the hill kind of thing. Hagler is rated a 12. So we'll make him the guy you have to beat.
I fight the winner.
You fight the winner. Exactly. And we'll do LaMotta against Sugar Ray Robinson, which is.
Was that a real fight?
Oh, it was more than one real fight. They fought 3 times, maybe 4 times. And you don't remember. Well, I know you're not the movie.
I'm not old enough. I mean,
well, no, none of us are old enough. But in Raging Bull,
right,
that's a big part of a certain percentage of the story is the fact that LaMotta was able to beat Sugar Ray Robinson. I think he only beat him once. I'm not a boxing historian. I know my boxing, but I can't call myself a historian. Maybe somebody in the chat can answer this.
We were talking about the fact that it was
on 5 times. They fought 5 times.
Wow. That it was on so much in the 80s when I was a kid. And the bigger fights were on closed circuit television before they went to pay-per-view. And pay-per-view, I think, has really killed the sport. I mean, who wants to spend $60 I mean, they might be great boxers, but if you don't know who they are, why are you going to spend that kind of money?
I think a lot of things have hurt the sport, and that's one of them.
Legitimacy being some of the other. But.
Sure, but that's always been an issue.
Right.
Know?
Oh, right.
No clear, it used to be you had the WBA, the WBC, and that was it. And I'm assuming there was a point where you didn't even have both of them. You just had one. I think the WBC is older. Right. Bernie says Graziano fought Jake LaMotta. Yep. But anyway, okay. So it'll be Jake LaMotta against Sugar Ray Robinson. The first decision that you have to make, Michaels, do you want to fight? And you can change this round by round if you want. Do you want him to fight as a boxer or a slugger? Now, here's the difference. Remember I talked about controlled, the control number? So his control is a 12 against a boxer. And well, actually what matters more is my control is a 10 against a boxer, and 11 against a slugger. If you fight as a slugger, I'll get control probably a little bit more often. The trade-off is if you want to fight as a slugger, you'll have a little bit more strength and a little bit more punching power. Now, keep in mind, you're fighting Jake LaMotta, who is an animal, and Sugar Ray Robinson, he had some style to him. So how do you want to start? Boxer or slugger?
We'll go with boxer.
I think that's the right choice. All right. Now I'm setting up fight options. We'll do 10 rounds. No injuries because we don't have to deal with that. Saved by the bell, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Tiffany was always good. What?
Three knockdown rule off because I don't think they didn't have that back then. Sound has to be off or I'll kill myself in my headphones. We'll go with the old foul chart, the original cut procedure. Neither one's a lefty. We're doing fighter strategy for both fighters. And we're going to use the 10-point modified system. we should be good to go.
See, I thought I was fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. Now I'm laughing at my response to your email earlier today.
Wait, I thought you wanted Sugar Ray. You wanted Sugar Ray Leonard?
Yeah, but that wasn't a choice. I for some reason I thought that's what I read. I read it real quickly, and I said I'll take Sugar Ray Leonard because Hagler. It would have been pretty good, and I think I said in my email that I had met Sugar Ray in Hilton Head Island.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because the way I read it, you had met Sugar Ray Robinson.
No,
in Hilton Head. I'm like, man, I know Michael's old, but I don't think he's that old.
No, I was laughing because I said, "Oh, I got the wrong Sugar Ray," but that's okay. I've never.
All right, let me bring in the game, and I will announce it because I think I'm going to have to because I don't think because the way the game mechanics work, you'll see. Yeah. But it would be nice if Al Red Sox fan could do it. I was watching his stream the other night. He was doing a boxing match. He's so good at it. It's unbelievable.
He's network level when it comes to that.
He's so good. All right, this should be right. Let's see.
He would have. Here's the Al Red Sox Jim Trunzo story. He apparently whatever local gaming store in Springfield where he is was going to sell it. He wanted it so bad he kept going in day after day after day to ask if it had showed up, and when it finally showed up, he was the happiest guy in town.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna have to actually take us off the screen. Wait, I don't want to do that, do I? What do you guys think? Either we have to play. Either it's going to be this size with us on the screen.
That's fine. Well,
or this size without us on the screen.
That's good.
This or this?
That's fine.
This, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like it the other way. That way, nobody will see me crying.
There's no crying in boxing.
There's definitely not.
It is if you hit me.
Okay. Mr. Tough Guy.
Yeah, that's
Stop it.
Okay, so what you need to do first, Mike, is if you have a little pen and paper, you have to decide what strategy you're going to use. You know what they are. I told you. I'll tell the audience. It's fighting inside, fighting outside, and then there's a couple of sub choices there. Covering up, which cover up. I can't figure out how to do it in the PC game, but normally cover up is something that you can use during the round if you're getting your ass kicked. But in this case, you can only decide to do that. So the only time you would ever use cover up is if like you got beaten to hell the round before and you're trying to stay on your feet. But if you use cover up, you won't score any points. And then, of course, going for the knockout. And remember, there are those sub choices there. For fighting inside, it's work the body or smothering attack. For fight outside, it's counterpunch, stick and move, or keep away. And they all have different adjustments that we're not going to go through. So just think kind of broad stroke, guys, when it's your turn, kind of how you want your boxer to fight. I'm going to write mine. I'm going to write mine down now. Okay. And we'll just go on the honor system. We'll write it down, but we'll just go on the honor system. Okay, I'm ready.
I am too.
All right. I'm going fighting inside, smothering attack.
I'm going stick and move. Do I have to pick one other one?
No, stick and move is that's fighting outside, stick and move. Got it. Yeah, no, it's fighting outside, and then stick and move is the subcategory. Okay. All right, here we go. Round one.
Ding ding ding.
Everything's on the screen because I'm not looking at the screen now. I mean, I'm just looking at the game. Right? So we're all good, guys.
We're all good.
All right, here we go. Round one. It's Jake LaMotta, the Bronx Bull, fought from 1941 to 1954, facing off against arguably the greatest fighter of all time, certainly top three, Sugar Ray Robinson, fighting from 1940 to 1965.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So that's what Jim was talking about and watching about where, you know, he was Methuselah. I didn't realize he fought that long. All right. So here we go. We've got LaMotta in the red trunk, in the blue trunks, Robinson in the white trunks. Oh, and that's the other thing too. When you pick a strategy, are you guys able to see what just popped up?
No.
No.
Okay, it says Jake LaMotta will carry out his chosen strategy. So his defense is -2, but his punching power will go way up. So when you pick a strategy, there's a random roll that's done, by the engine. Sometimes the fighter will employ the strategy, sometimes they won't. So
Like
Jake
Martin
LaMotta
Trent.
will, and it doesn't seem like Ray Robinson will. And here we go. And we start off with Jake LaMotta in control. Misses with that one. Loses control. See that 9 versus his control factor of 8. So that means he loses control. So you do a control check, and Robinson has control, and he ring moves. Robinson dancing early, keeps control. No foul there. Almost a foul. Loses control. Gets it back. Robinson. And that's going to be a counterpunch by
LaMotta.
He
hit him.
Lands for 2. Keeps control. Robinson ring moves there. Robinson keeps control. Special could be like, Jake LaMotta hitting on the break. And they take a point away from LaMotta already on that for a flagrant foul, hitting on the break. And that is very much Jake LaMotta. Robinson loses control. Gets it back, though. And he's continuing to move, staying away from LaMotta's heavy attack. Loses control. LaMotta has it. LaMotta misses, lunges, counterpunch from Robinson, and he misses with a jab. Keeps control. LaMotta keeps control. Clinches him, tying up Robinson. Keeps control. And LaMotta lands with a hard hook. Loses control. Robinson lands with a cross. Loses control. And that's going to be the end of round 1.
Ding, 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 ding.
Minimal action in round 1. Unexpected. I would have thought LaMotta would have gone after him a little harder.
They're feeling each other out there, Larry Merchant. I just think that, they'll get right to it.
Good. That's exactly what we need. No, keep that up. That's what we need. All right, here we go. We go to round 2. The ring girl is doing her thing. Here we go. And it starts with LaMotta in control because his aggression number is 10 and Robinson's is 8. So he'll start every round as the aggressor. Loses control. Oh, we forgot to pick strategies.
So I was going to just say, don't we have to pick a strategy?
Well, it actually
they carry over, right?
It carried over, yeah. So and your strategy is being carried. It is being
because I'd actually written down a different strategy.
I can't change it now because it's
that's all right. That's right.
But that's okay. I mean, he's doing what you wanted him to do last round. He's just doing it a round later.
Yeah, I'll just knock you out now.
LaMotta keeps control, lands for 2 points. Weak punch there. Lands another punch on Robinson.
Oh, a combo.
For another 2 points, loses control. Robinson has it. Robinson with way more punching range. His punches landed is 1 to 36. LaMotta is only 1 to 28. So expect a lot more hitting from Robinson than you will from LaMotta. But LaMotta will hit harder when he does hit. Robinson keeps control. Lands again. Robinson with a right hook. Loses control. LaMotta has it. LaMotta connects hard with a cross.
Whoa.
Keeps control. Misses. Possible counterpunch. Yes, Robinson lands with a counterpunch. An uppercut for 3. Oh, he's hit him hard for 4. You guys don't see the chart, but there's another chart that comes up that I have to click on, and it told me that was a 4-point punch, not just a 3-point punch. For those of you at home. Robinson loses control. Gets it back. Misses with that punch. Loses control. Gets it back. Lands again with a hook for 2. Keeps control. Wrapping him up. Keeps control. Moving around. Moving away from LaMotta. Loses control. Gets it back, though. Robinson, dead center. Combination for 2 more. Keeps control. Clinches. Keeps control. Lands another punch. For 2 to end round. No, actually, he rocked him with a 5-point punch.
Whoa, and LaMotta
in that round, 18 to 7. In favor.
I don't know what was said in the corner between rounds, but Robinson came out all fired up, and LaMotta just looked like he didn't know what was going on.
Now, do you see where it says Killer Instinct?
Yes.
If the round wasn't over, That result was a killer instinct. Do you see the the KI number of the boxers, 10 and 10?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this was 1 because of the result. You just flip a card. So sometimes you flip 10 cards in a row and there's no control. It's all your boxer just hitting, missing, hitting. It's, it's when you've got a guy on the ropes, basically. All right, here we go to round 3. Anybody checking the chat? Oh, shoot, I forgot again. No, we can still pick it. Yeah, now we can pick it. I picked mine.
I picked mine.
Mine is no strategy. What's yours?
Work the body.
Work the body. Did I just do that? Here we go. All right, Robinson going after blood here. Smells blood in the water.
He wants this and he wants it right now.
Here we go. LaMotta starts off in control, and he lands immediately with a combination.
Ooh.
Oh, a hard one for 5 as he buckles Robinson's knees. Keeps control. Misses. Can't land. Loses control. Robinson has it. And Robinson has issued a warning for a low blow. Again, guys, these are charts that are coming up that I can see that you can't. Loses control. LaMotta moving away. Keeps control. Lands.
Uh-oh.
There's a right hook for 3 more. Keeps control. Misses with that one. Loses control. Back over to Robinson, who lands a combination shot for 2 points. Robinson keeps control. Ring moves. Keeps control. Misses with that one. Possible counterpunch from LaMotta. And yes, LaMotta with a cross for 2.
Oh, hard.
No. Chance for a knockdown. And he doesn't get it. But he does get the points. Loses control. Back over to LaMotta. LaMotta, both fighters moving around now. LaMotta in control. LaMotta lands again. Jumps into it with a cross. And now there's some minor swelling under the right eye of Robinson. That could hurt him later in the fight. LaMotta keeps control. Lands again. LaMotta with a left uppercut for 3 more points. It's 18-2. Loses control. Gets it back. Ring move for LaMotta. LaMotta keeps control. Lands again. Over 20. And that's the end of the round.
Wow. LaMotta just came out like a house of fire in that 3rd round. He got yelled at for 45 seconds.
A 5-point punch. The score of that round, and again, this isn't the referee scoring. This is just sort of a general gauge of how bad one guy beat the other. 23-2. So in a 10-point round system, that's going to be a 10-8. And
actually, again, look at that killer instinct too. He would have been over.
He's not going to get it right. He was saved by the bell. Exactly. All right, we go to round 4. Strategy, I guess. Next round. The cut man has done a great job of reducing the minor swelling under the right eye of Robinson. All right, I know my strategy.
I know mine, going back to what was working before. Stick and move.
Fighting outside, stick and move?
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to go fighting inside. Work the body. All right, here we go. And LaMotta really put some hurt on Robinson. Yeah, the endurance is important too. Robinson's, exactly. I wonder why his endurance is so low. That's
it wasn't that high to begin with. LaMotta's was considered, I think, close to 70.
Huh. Ray Robinson will carry out his chosen strategy. LaMotta starts the fight, loses control, gets it back, gets it right back. Referee comes in to break it up, keeps control, misses with that one, loses control, over to Robinson. Robinson missed, possible counterpunch. LaMotta can't connect. Robinson loses control, gets it back, and there's a punch from Robinson, a right uppercut for 3 points. Loses control. Now it's over to LaMotta. LaMotta misses. LaMotta loses control. Back to Robinson. Robinson connects again with a right hook for 3 more.
Good hook.
Loses control. Back to LaMotta. LaMotta, he just wraps him up, keeps control. Wraps him up, just doing anything he can to keep Robinson off him. Loses control. Gets it back. And now he moves out of the way. Keeps control. Lands with a 2-point punch for LaMotta. Loses control. Gets it back. Lands again LaMotta trying to get something done here. Gets control back again, wraps him up. And that's going to be the end of round 4. A very, very close and rather uneventful round 4. As we go to round 5, Ron, thoughts?
LaMotta had the momentum going into that, and he seemed to let it get away.
Well, I think that's a testament to Robinson and his resilience. All right, strategy for this round. All right, I've got mine.
All right, I got mine.
Mine is going for the knockout. Load up.
All right.
I'm fighting in, smothering attack.
Oh, this could be interesting. All right, here we go. LaMotta, as we start round 5, don't forget there is that slight swelling under Robinson's eye, and Robinson will carry out his strategy. Loses control over to Robinson. Robinson connects immediately with a nice uppercut for 5. Oh, and LaMotta looks a little shaken as Robinson keeps control, lands again, another hook, loses control over to LaMotta. LaMotta, he lands with an uppercut for 2, keeps control, misses, loses control, back over to Robinson. Robinson connects. There's a hook for 5 more.
Ooh.
And Robinson really taking it to LaMotta now, in control, lands again for actually it becomes a 1-point punch. It was partially blocked, loses control over to LaMotta.
First real defense for LaMotta.
Right. Loses control. Back to LaMotta. LaMotta clinching. LaMotta loses control. Back to LaMotta. LaMotta connects with a hook for 3. Loses control. Robinson misses with that punch. Keeps control. Clinches. Loses control. Keeps it. And as he starts to dance, loses control. Gets it back.
He's tired.
He lands.
He's tired.
A 2-point jab, and that round is all Robinson. So whatever damage LaMotta had done in the 3rd, that has not carried over in any way.
No, it hasn't.
As we head into round 6.
But Robinson has pretty much punched himself out here halfway through the fight. He's going to be tired coming in the 6th round.
Yes, he is, Ron. Let's see what happens. We'll go with our next strategies.
Trying for the knockout didn't work for LaMotta.
No, it didn't. All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
What do you got?
Fighting inside, tie up.
There's no tie up. You mean fighting outside?
No, I'm looking at FI in parentheses, tie up.
I don't see tie. I see fighting inside. There's 2 options: work the body and smothering attack.
Yeah. Well, the printout you said shows tie up.
Yeah, maybe there's some discrepancy.
Okay. Let's continue with smothering attack then.
Okay. And I am also going with fighting inside, smothering attack. And here we go. It's round 6 of the scheduled 10-round bout. The winner will take on Marvin Hagler for the Box Scores from the Basement middleweight championship of the basement. And LaMotta loses control. Robinson wraps him up, loses control. Back to LaMotta. LaMotta connects with a left hook.
Good
and
hook.
Now there's major swelling over the left eye of Sugar Ray. He can barely see out of that eye as LaMotta loses control. Back to Robinson. Robinson misses with that punch, loses control, gets it back, connects with a combination punch and now there's a cut on the forehead of LaMotta. So both fighters starting to bleed. Robinson loses control. LaMotta has it. LaMotta clinching, loses control. No foul there. As Robinson loses control. LaMotta has it. LaMotta connects with a hook for 3, loses control. And there's a clinch for Robinson. Robinson loses control, gets it back for LaMotta. LaMotta moving around the ring, dancing around a little bit, keeps control, and that's going to do it for round number 6. Once again,
that was a boring round.
Well, but both fighters cut, and that
Yes.
could be a problem in these last 4 rounds.
And Robinson is out exhausted. So LaMotta, who you thought would just kind of lose steam after coming out like a raging bull, still has some left in the tank in the 7th round.
Well, again, it's funny in the movie Raging Bull. Joe Pesci plays Robert De Niro plays Jake LaMotta.
Right.
Joe Pesci plays his brother. And there was a point in LaMotta's career where he was starting to get out of shape. And there's that classic line where Joe Pesci goes, "Look at you, you fat fuck," which is a classic line. And Joe Pesci was a brilliant actor.
Yes.
Or is a brilliant actor.
He
Okay,
is.
so we go to round 7. Anything in the chat I need to know about? Are you handling it, Ron?
I watching the fight. So,
well,
hey,
let's take a break here for a second to see what's going on in the chat. Oh, quite a few.
Hey, no, my
talking to your cat?
Yes. See her trying to poke me?
Robinson won 5 or 6 fights against LaMotta. WBC came after NBA because NBA was controlled by
the National Boxing Association.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Michael Silva joining us. Frank Wainscott says he has his original 79 Title Bout game with 79 8Q and 87 cards. I still play it a ton. Good, you should. It's a great game. All right, back to the action.
I'm not sure we can do a second fight here because the cat is being quite bad.
How bad can a cat be?
I can't protect myself, and she's got claws.
Oh yeah, no, I see that. No, yeah, I understand.
So,
all right. Well, let's.
So in other words, Ron could be in the cut corner.
That's right.
right. All right, pick a strategy.
We're going back to the stick and move.
That was fighting outside.
Yeah.
Stick and move, and I am going for the knockout again.
He bites well.
Actually, this time I'm loading up. All right, here we go.
All right.
I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but it just sounds cool. All right, here we go. Round 7. And once again, Robinson will carry out his strategy, but it looks like LaMotta is not. As LaMotta loses control, gets it back, LaMotta lands with actually becomes a 1-point punch as Robinson blocked it. Robinson in control, and the referee tells both fighters to keep it clean, but no foul called. Keeps control. Does Robinson. Misses. And you can see that Robinson's punches landed is way down to 1 to 32 now, partly because of the endurance issue. Loses control. And that's going to be landed by LaMotta for 2 more points. Actually,
he's blocking. His defense is pretty good.
Keeps control, clinches, loses control. And that's going to be a ring movement for Robinson, who keeps control. Ring moves again. Loses control. Over to LaMotta. LaMotta connects with a 3-point hook. Loses control. The problem for LaMotta is he can't land consistent punches.
No.
No foul there as Robinson loses control, but he gets it right back. And Robinson lunging with a hook, actually for 2, becomes a 1-point punch blocked by LaMotta. Loses control. Over to LaMotta. LaMotta connects with a jab for 2. Loses control. And that's going to be the end of round 7. A low-scoring round for sure, but a round, the way Title Bout works in the board game is if the final score is within 5, then there's a chance the judges might score it either way. If the difference is 6 or more, then the judges are going to score it for the fighter who's got the 6. Yeah, it's actually cool because with the fast action card at the end of the game, you look at all the rounds that what the score will be based on what the score was. You know what the judge's score will be, and then you start flipping cards to get that final result for the rounds that are close, and it's really cool. All right, here we go. Next round. As both actually LaMotta still has something in the gas tank.
Yeah, LaMotta hasn't had to burn a lot of energy.
I'm ready when you are.
Hey, work the body.
That's fighting inside, work the body. Yep. And I am going fighting inside, smothering attack. All right, here we go. Round number 8 coming up. And LaMotta will carry out his strategy. He loses control over to Robinson. Robinson can't connect. Robinson keeps control and connects. There's a left hook for 3 points. Loses control over to LaMotta. LaMotta misses. Counterpunch coming from Robinson. No, he missed. LaMotta keeps control. Just misses with that one.
Ooh.
Keeps control. Ring moves. You get the feeling that if LaMotta can really connect, that could change things dramatically. But he misses. Loses control over to Robinson. Robinson connecting. Working the jab for 2. Keeps control. Misses. Counterpunch coming. And there's a counterpunch from LaMotta for 2. Robinson loses control. Control to LaMotta. LaMotta wraps him up. Loses control. Over to Robinson. Robinson connects. Robinson with a 4-point punch. Right now, this round belonging to Sugar Ray Robinson. He loses
LaMotta's
control.
tired too.
Gets it back. And clinches. Loses control. Gets it back again. Moving around the ring, but not throwing enough punches. Keeps control. There's a punch from Robinson as he catches him with the left hook for 4. This is looking more and more like this is going to be Robinson's round, and it could be a big one as he loses control, and that's going to be the end of round 8. So if we look at the scoring, you look at round 1, very close. Round 2, all Robinson. Round 3, all LaMotta. Round 4, close. Round 5, all Robinson. Round 6, slightly LaMotta. Round 7, LaMotta. What do you guys think of who's winning right now?
I thought
Really hard to
LaMotta was
tell.
the clear winner going into the 8th round, but Robinson made most of that back up. So I would say it's LaMotta, but he needs to do something, I think, definitive in the last 2 rounds to ensure it in the judges' minds.
I think he needs to win both rounds. I think if he splits them, it's going to Robinson. I think if he wins them both, it's LaMotta's fight. But obviously, of course, if he can drop them, that's even better.
Right.
As we go to round number 9. And Jake LaMotta has a second win. There's also these like skills that some guys have. It's all in the rule book. And also, if you remember, Trunzo was talking about this. The original Title Bout game didn't have a lot of this extra or this kind of thing. The Jake LaMotta gets a second win. There's like certain skills now that didn't exist, which I think it's great that there's advanced options that you can play even with the board game. In the PC game, some of it's kind of baked in. And Ray Robinson, of course, a strong closer, so his control factor goes up 1. Now, also keep in mind, I mentioned this at the start of the fight, Mike, but if you want to, I don't think you probably do, but you can change him from a boxer to a slugger as you want to.
Right.
I would think, if
I'm
you
going to
think
keep it right where I'm going to keep it where I am.
I think I would.
Yeah.
All right. So let me think of my strategy here. I got it.
All right, we're going to continue what worked last round. Work the body.
So that was fighting inside. Work the body. And I am going for the knockout. And here we go. Round number 9. Actually, if you notice, LaMotta's endurance went up.
So that second win kicked back in. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Jake
huge.
LaMotta will carry out his chosen strategy as he connects for 2, or actually 1, loses control over to Robinson. Robinson connects with a hard combination for 3. Robinson keeps control. Ring moves. Loses control. LaMotta. And LaMotta is warned for pushing. No points deducted, but he's warned for pushing Robinson. Literally just pushing him. Keeps control. Misses with that one. Here comes a counterpunch, possibly from Robinson. No, he can't connect. LaMotta keeps control. Moving around the ring. Come on, Jake. You got to throw some punches. Keeps control. Just misses with that one. Keeps control. You got to connect, man. Clinching. Keeps control. There he goes. LaMotta with a jab for 4. Keeps control. Connects again with a hook and another cut, a minor cut on the forehead of Sugar Ray Robinson. And LaMotta keeping control, clinching, wrapping him up there, keeps control, No foul. Keeps control. No foul. Loses control. Over to Robinson. Robinson moving around the ring. Loses. Keeps control. You see his control factor's up to 13. Misses with his punch, though. Keeps control. And that's going to be the end of round 9. So LaMotta, slightly better than Robinson, slightly more effective than Robinson, landed a couple of punches, but again, just not able to get inside and really rock Robinson, at least not since that 3rd round.
No, not at all. But he's got endurance going in that last round, and the knockout strategy hasn't really worked for Jake.
No, it really hasn't, but I think it's one he has to continue.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, we go to the last and the final round of this bout. Do you have your strategy?
Yeah, work the body. We're gonna keep it at work the body.
All right. And I am going to fight inside and go smothering attack. All right, here we go.
Ding, ding, ding.
Robinson out of gas. LaMotta still has something left in the legs. Let's see what happens here. It's the final round of this bout, and Robinson will carry out his strategy as LaMotta keeps control, clinches, keeps control. Nothing special there. Loses control. Over to Robinson. Robinson connects with a combination for 2. Loses control. Over to LaMotta. LaMotta ring move, can't connect.
You can't be doing this.
Keeps
Got to throw punches.
You got to throw punches, Jake. You got to do it. Keeps control. His brother's screaming at him from the corner. Misses with that punch. Keeps control. Misses again. Keeps control, but you got to connect. Now he's wrapping him up. What are you doing, Jake? Robinson with control. Robinson connects with a hook.
Good hook. What a hook.
No.
Keeps control. Hits him again with a cross. Hitting
Oh.
him. Keeps control. Hits him again. Left, right, left. This time an uppercut for 2. Loses control. LaMotta gets it back. LaMotta connects. They're going at it here at the end of the round. And then there's more bleeding on there's a cut on the left cheek of Sugar Ray Robinson. 48 seconds to go as LaMotta loses control. Robinson gets it back. Robinson connects. A 2-point uppercut. Keeps control. Connects again.
Uh-oh.
There's a 3-point hook by Robinson, who loses control, gets it back, misses. We're down to 8 seconds, loses control, and that's going to do it.
Wow.
This fight
Big
is
finish.
over.
Big finish.
Wow. LaMotta had this in the palm of his hand, and I don't think it's enough.
I think it's typical Sugar Ray Robinson. He didn't always do it, and he, wasn't always dazzling, but a smart fighter, stayed away from LaMotta, took his opportunities when they came. And you look at rounds 8, 9, and 10, and this is when Robinson is out of gas, and he's dominating the last 3 rounds.
Huge 8th round and a huge 10th round, yeah.
I think this one is going to go to LaMotta, to Robinson, but we're about to find that out. The judges have a decision. Phil Edwards, 95-94. Timothy Adams, 97-93. James Waring, 98-92. For the winner by unanimous decision, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yep, that's the right result.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. So there you have it. That was fun.
That was.
Yeah.
That was really cool. First time ever playing a boxing game, and I won. So beginner's luck.
So do we want to do this other bout, or do we want to call it?
I don't know where she went. So let's just do this.
Yeah.
All right. Let me bring up this next one. All right.
But she's got claws, and just like ZZ Top, she knows.
No, I get it. Yeah, I completely get it. That's gotta be tough.
My dogs must have known she was around because my dogs have come around the corner.
If we could get her to sign the rent checks, I'd appreciate that.
I'm going to take another quick break, guys. That kind of it's kind of tough on my voice a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You guys okay without me?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So in this fight, it looks like. Oh wait, I could be wrong. Yeah. So both fighters actually have an opportunity to pick their styles. Hagler can fight as a boxer or a slugger. So can Robinson. So which do you want to do?
Boxer.
Boxer
I'm
for
going with
Hagler.
boxer. Yeah,
All
boxer
right.
for me too.
All right.
Go with what worked.
Fight options. Do you want to go 12 rounds or full 15?
Let's make it 12.
12 is fine.
12's
Okay.
fine.
Saved by the bell, no. 3 knockdown rule off. No injuries. Balanced judgment. Throw in the towel? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighter strategy on both fighters. Do you want to go points or rounds?
Points.
Yeah.
10 or 5?
10.
Got it. We'll call this a world title fight. Is Hagler left-handed?
I don't remember.
Because it's giving me the option to do the left-handed adjustment. Do I want to keep that on or not worry about that? It's a slight adjustment that, it's tougher to fight a southpaw, they say, right? We'll keep it all for this.
Just ask Thomas Hearns.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I watched that. Actually, I watched that fight the other day. It was brutal. Or part of it. Fighter control both strategies.
He should be quite proud of this game. It really, all the things.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I got to redo that because I kept the sound on and it's so loud in my ears. It's impossible.
I could hear it.
Yeah, I got to change that. So let me just redo this. All right, middleweight. Robinson. Continue. You guys both want to fight as boxers, right?
Yes.
Fight options. Turn off sound immediately. Let's do that first. All right, sound off. No injuries. Throw in the towel. 10-point modified 12-round fight, world title fight. Fighter strategy on both fighters. Left hand adjustment off. Full cut procedure. Okay. Okay. Now I just need to.
Oops. Oh, there. He had to reassure his dog after my cat went on the attack.
This is how we did it before, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to take a quick break. You guys talk amongst yourselves and
right.
try to be interesting. Maybe check out the chat a little bit. Be right back.
I can do that. Nothing's changed.
Nah, nothing's changed. No. Hello, Michael Silver. He was at D2D this weekend.
His Bash project is coming down to the end too. I think he's got his 32 teams.
Yes, he does. Yeah,
That's incredible.
Quite a project. Yeah, really great guy.
Yes.
Got to spend some time talking to him. It was really good.
So looking at these cards here, they both land the same amount of punches, 1 to 32.
Yeah.
Looks like Marvin's got a little more of a counter punch. And hopefully we don't dance as much.
Yeah.
Looks like they're ready to raise a better fighter inside and outside, or inside, and Marvin or Hagler better on the outside. They're both 9s. It's too bad the overall records aren't there. And Robinson doesn't, the endurance is a 10-point difference. Hagler's at 85 and Robinson's at 75.
Yep.
So do you watch a lot of boxing growing up? Because you're right in that cusp. Oh, no, it wasn't on every Friday night when you were growing up, were you? No, it was at the end.
No.
You came at the end of that.
Yeah. Basically, my fighting experience, just watching on Wide World of Sports.
Right.
And then from there, watching HBO on the HBO.
Yep, the old Jim,
Barry
Tompkins, Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And I just watched the big matches. I wasn't, I didn't get into all of it. Yeah.
It wasn't something that had to be watched, but if it was on, it was on.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get to this final bout of the evening, I just want to remind everybody, don't forget to go to boxscorefilm.com. Check out the website. You'll see right there on the homepage, there's something called a pre-launch list. You can put your email address in there, and that will, alert us to the fact that you are interested in supporting the documentary, and that interest, as far as the contribution, it might be $20, $50, but we're not there yet. This is the pre-launch. It gives us an indication. So as an example, when I was talking to Adam Richmond from Strat the other day, I could tell him we have X amount, and it's growing on our pre-launch. And, your ears perk up. He's like, wow, that many people are interested in supporting this. Then I want to be a part of it too. So it really helps us. It helps all of us. It helps the hobby if you sign up for the pre-launch. And this way you'll also get updates on things. There'll be special perks that will be for pre-launch list people only. So do that when you can. You also have a chance there to tell your story. We've gotten a couple of really interesting ones, by the way. People are sending us their stories, and we're looking at them, reading them over.
Nice.
John and I have been. And at some point we may reach out and say, hey, this story is they're all compelling, but in terms of the documentary, maybe we'll tell your story as part of the documentary. So go to boxscorefilm.com for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't already. And let's get started, shall we? Well, first, let's give our predictions. I think with what I saw from Ray Robinson in the last fight, he's fighting, a guy that, Hagler was a beast and one of the most well-conditioned fighters of all time. You look at their endurance numbers, Robinson at 75, Hagler at 85. I think Robinson, looking at his special abilities, strong closer, they're both strong closer. Robinson also has the second wind that may or may not kick in. That's a random roll that happens behind the scenes. I think that if the fight goes 6, it's Hagler. If it goes the distance, it's Robinson in a split decision. That's my prediction.
Those cards look pretty even to me.
They look really even. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Close that out. That just came from.
All right.
So give me your strategies for round 1, please.
Outside, stick and move.
That's what I am.
So you're both outside, stick and move.
Stick and move. Yeah.
All right, here we go. We've got Robinson in the blue trunks, Hagler in the white trunks. As we are set to get underway, there's the bell. And we're going to start off with Hagler losing control over to Robinson. Robinson connects. A 2-point jab. No, he almost dropped him. 5 points and full killer instinct. That's 10 cards coming Robinson's way.
Oh, no.
And he lands with this punch for 2 on the jab. Hagler in trouble. What just happened there? Oh, yeah, an uppercut for 3 more. Keeps control. Hits him again. Actually, there's no control here. It's all just hitting. 3 more points on the jab. Hits him again with a left uppercut for 4. He's already at 17 points, and we are at 209 still remaining in the round. Here's the last card. He missed with that one. Robinson loses control, gets it back, and he's dancing around, just taunting Hagler, loses control, gets it back, wraps him up, keeps control, moves around a bit, keeps control, wraps him up, keeps control. This round is all Ray Robinson, and he connects again with a left cross for 3 more. He's at 20, keeps control, moving around the ring. 12 seconds to go in the round, loses control. Hagler doing nothing. Hagler just clinches, out of breath, just wraps himself around Robinson. The referee has to pull him on. And round 1, all Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ow.
Strategies?
Yes. I'm gonna wait for him to write it down or whatever, and then I'll.
Yeah, I can only see the game, so.
Got it.
All right. Inside smother.
I'm going for the knockout.
You should.
Fighting inside. I have to change around. Fighting inside. You said smother, right?
Yeah.
That's Hagler. And Robinson is
knockout.
Going
for the knockout.
It might as well, yeah.
All right, here we go. Round 2 of the scheduled 12-round championship fight. And Robinson's his strategy will be carried out. Loses control.
Oh, you gave me sticking. Oh,
no. He hits. He lands. With a 2-point cross for Robinson. Oh no, he hits him again with a 5-point punch and a 1-card killer instinct. And he misses with that punch. Loses control. Hagler finally connects with a punch.
Finally.
A combination for 3. Loses control. Gets it back. Clinches. Loses control. Gets it back.
Hagler, you got to hit.
Hagler just moving around, feeling him out. Loses control. Gets it back. There's a connection from Hagler. And he's got him with a 3-point combination. Loses control. Gets it back. Robinson not capitalizing on all the damage he did in round 1 as Hagler keeps control, moves around, keeps control, lands another punch for Hagler. A jab for 2, loses control. Robinson connects. Robinson with he's another cross for 3, loses control, gets it back, ring moves, keeps control, lands again with a jab that ends the round. Slight edge to Robinson.
Comes back.
Did not capitalize on the damage caused in round 1. As we go to round number 3. Let me know when you guys are ready.
I made up that endurance difference real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. You're actually the fresher fighter.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go with stick and move.
Okay. That is for Robinson. Fighting outside. And for Hagler?
My inside options are?
Work the body or smothering attack.
Work the body.
All right, here we go. Round number 3. Robinson will carry out his attack, and he keeps control.
Hagler hasn't listened to a damn thing I've said.
Misses. Keeps control. Clinches. Loses control. Over to Hagler. Hagler can't connect with that punch.
No.
Loses control. Gets it back. And there's Hagler with a 3-point cross.
Finally.
Keeps control. Clinches.
Don't hug him.
Loses control. Over to Robinson. Robinson gets away, dancing away. Loses control. Gets it back. Moves in for the punch. There's a hard uppercut for 3. Keeps control. Misses. Counterpunch coming from Hagler, who can't connect.
Oh, come on.
Loses control. Hagler gets control back. Loses. He misses with the punch. Keeps control. Lands a punch. Hagler with a 4-point uppercut. Finally, a hard blow from Hagler as he keeps control. And he's motioned to keep his punches up by the referee. Loses control. Over to Robinson. Robinson just misses with that one. Barely missed. Loses control. And that's going to be the end of round 3. As Hagler finally shows a little something in that 3rd round. Our referee tonight, Alfredo Garcia Perez. He's strict on fouls, and he's late in calling TKOs. He'll let them fight it out until somebody's bleeding to death. All right, let me know when your strategies are ready.
I'm ready.
Listen
okay.
to a bloody thing I said. Go ahead. I will go inside smother.
And I am inside work the body.
Inside smother. Inside work the body. Here we go. Round number 4 of this 12-round fight. And Hagler will carry out his strategy.
Finally.
As he keeps control, connects right at the start of the round with a jab for just a weak 1 point. Keeps control, connects again with an uppercut for 3, keeps control, connects again, working the jab for 2 more, keeps control, moves around the ring a little bit, loses control, gets it back, gets it immediately back with another jab. And oh, this is a knockdown. Robinson is down. 3, 4, and he's up at 4. But now 10 cards of Killer Instinct coming from Marvin Hagler.
Let's go.
As he's got Robinson right where he wants him. And he connects with a combination for 2. Misses with that punch. Connects for 2 more. Connects again. They're just not hard punches. With 2 more. Hits him again with a hard cross. Oh, and he's just torn the lip of Sugar Ray Robinson. So Hagler, ferocious here in this round, and he connects again.
Go.
That's 22 points now for Hagler, and he keeps control, and he hits again. He's got Robinson in trouble. 5, but this could be over soon, folks. Keeps control, lands again, and that's going to be it.
Yay!
That's going to be it. The corner of Ray Robinson throws in the towel. It actually says, oh no, the corner of Ray Robinson throws the towel into the ring. Alfredo Garcia ignores the towel and allows the fight to continue.
Wow.
But it's a 5F. So it's about to be 5 more points and Killer Instinct. So let's see what happened. This is going to be brutal. He hits him again. I've never seen this. 5 more. No, this is over. It's over. It's over, folks. More damage than I think I've ever seen. 37 points. As Marvin Hagler just tears Ray Robinson to shreds.
And I'm going to turn my camera off so nobody can see me cry.
He literally could not. He was landing. He was hitting. It's like Robinson all of a sudden like went into a coma. Like somebody I was
up 20-0 in the first round.
Yeah, I didn't look at it. You were well ahead in that fight.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's too late for me to look at the judge's scorecard. I could have, but I'm sure it would have shown. I mean, Marvin Hagler.
Yeah,
considered by many to be the greatest middleweight.
If it was over before 6, it was Hagler. If it was going to go longer, it would be Robinson. You're absolutely right on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I hope the chat had a good time. I think Title Bout is such a great game. You know, the only thing about the PC version is, you know, you got to do all that point and click, and you got to figure out the box and make sure you hit the box. Mm-hmm. You know, it's in line with games like I guess the Inside the Crease,
it's Bill Salma's the program.
It's Bill Salm, right? So that's kind of how he does it.
Yep.
Right.
You know.
The good thing is, and you can't really tell from watching that, is it points where you should be clicking, which makes the game kind of foolproof.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And you know, there are a lot of charts that are coming up that you guys just weren't able to see. But fun game and very accurate.
I think I still have it. So,
well, hopefully in doing this, that, you know, we're encouraging more people to play, you know, to play games like this, because Jim Trunzo is a legend, and this game is that good.
Goodness, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun, and obviously now I have to go get it. So I'll be one of those people that will go out and get the game now.
Great.
That was cool.
All right, everybody. Again, thanks for joining us. Don't forget boxscorefilm.com for the website. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you can tell others about the show and how much you enjoy the work that we're doing here, it helps us. It helps the community, and you'll feel better about yourself. We'll see you. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Good night.